good morning. It's a beautiful morning this morning. I just come in from feeding the chickens and taking the covers off the poop-free nesting boxes. That system's working fantastic. And so it's blocking them out of those nesting boxes every night, stopping them from roosting in there and pooping and getting eggs all dirty. And so that's a win. What I gotta go do now is go feed the pigs. And so the feed I mixed up last night, I'm gonna sprinkle on top of the straw and manure and stuff that we harvested from the carbonaceous diaper yesterday. And that's just gonna encourage them to continue to, they might have eaten everything they wanna eat, but now this is gonna encourage them to continue to work through and process all of that material. Now, because it's 6 a.m., I need my trusty flashlight. I still haven't figured out a solution for a flashlight on a bucket yet, but that's my goal by the end of the month, because it's getting dark fast. It's dark at 8 o'clock at night, and it's not light until 8 o'clock in the morning. So it's making chores a little bit challenging, because I've only got so many hands, right?
See, Charlotte, coming. Careful. Don't you bite her. Are you planting flowers for Mommy? Thank you.
All right, so I'm back in the chicken coop now, and I just wanted to show you how these poop-free nesting boxes work. So this is just a 1x4 that's like 8 feet long, and I put a screw on each end of the nesting box, and the 1x4 just has a hole drilled in each end, so I can slip that over the screw, and with relative ease it pops on, keeps the chicken from going in there at night. And I got one for the top, one for the bottom. And you can see a couple days ago we were noticing eggs that were quite dirty. Look at this one. This one looks like it just come right out of the grocery store. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. Now maybe you're wondering, why is this important? Well, the eggshell is porous, so if you get poop on the egg, there's always a risk of bacteria getting through there. And so you got to clean the egg as soon as possible. Well, then when you're cleaning the egg, you're removing what's called the bloom. So the bloom is like the chicken's last gift to the egg. So the bloom is like a protective, preservative layer the chicken lays on the egg as it comes out the vent. And that's really what keeps the egg good for so long, right? So if you have to wash the egg, to get muck and poop off of there, you're removing that bloom, and then thus the egg has to go directly into the refrigerator. Doesn't keep as long. Now, generally, you want to keep your eggs as fresh as possible, but some people, they do keep longer. Anyways, happy to say that the poop-free nesting box is a win, and we have clean eggs. No more cleaning eggs, as long as we come out here every day and remember to put these on before all the chickens come and go to bed. We should be good to go. I talked a lot about this yesterday, the work the pigs were going to do by spreading straw and manure and mixing it in with the clay here. But I thought it was interesting. This morning I was reading a study that was done out of China in peanut crops, and what they did there is they measured straw mulch versus plastic mulch for effectiveness in improving soil conditions, water retention, soil workability, nutrition, and yield. And so this study was performed in 1988, and the results were released in 1991. And so hands down, straw mulch increased aeration of the soil. It improved the workability of the soil, improved the water retention of the soil, improved the fertility of the soil. And the study in 87, it also improved the yield. In 88, they didn't see an improved yield, but with plastic mulch, what they did find in neither 87 nor 88 was there an increased yield with plastic mulch, and the soil conditioning remained actually pretty much status quo. No improvement whatsoever to soil conditioning for water retention, aeration, or fertility. Anyhow, I just find it really interesting how, 30 plus years ago, we knew there was a problem with soil health and with soil conservation. And not only do we know there was a problem, we're actively working towards identifying a solution. And the solution was, it was proven. There's scientific results in place through multiple universities across Eastern Europe, Western Europe, into Asia, and even into North America. And yet here we are today saying there's problems with our soil health. What are we going to do about it? Soil erosion has never been so high, and in as little as 60 years, 12% of the world's agricultural land could just be gone and not viable anymore. And I just find that a little bit shocking, really. The other thing I gotta get done tonight, well, maybe not tonight, sometime this week anyways, is drag the John Deere lawnmower into the shop. The steering gear actually crapped out a few weeks back, so I got parts for it from John Deere. It was like $100. As much as I didn't want to pay for that, you need to steer, right? I don't know how else you're gonna mow the lawn, so yeah, you can't even sell it without it. Like it's one of those things, you gotta have it. So I picked up the parts. I don't know how hard it is to change it out, but I tried to start it the other day. Actually, it wouldn't even start. So I think she's a little dry on fuel. So I gotta go ahead and get it primed up. Hopefully get it started, and I'll try and get it wheeled into the shop here and get those gears off. There's like a big plate on the bottom and then a tiny little gear that's on the bottom of the steering column, and it's just stripped out. Probably from harsh cornering, because it does like half a mile an hour. So as you know, up here on the hill, we're working on a soil conservation project here. You can see the type of soil we're working with, sandy, mixed with a little bit of clay, very almost like desertified, some dry scrubby grass, not a lot of good soil quality, not a lot of good plant quality up here. So we're running sheep in here. We're doing a bit of bale grazing to increase the organic material, as well as the sheep are laying down their manure. We've seeded 3 different types of grass under the hay that we're laying down here. So there's orchard grass, Kentucky bluegrass, as well as a perennial ryegrass, and then so there's going to also be some irrigation that occurs throughout the fall here and into the spring, just to increase the moisture levels and help break down that organic material. So you can already see over here in the areas where we've been bale grazing, we've underseeded. It's actually doing quite well, right? There's already more moisture in the soil here. The grass is starting to come up quite nice. The soil's a lot more fertile than it is over here, where it hasn't had any hay yet and it hasn't really seen any of the sheep's love. But the process, although slow, is working. So you might ask why we're working in here to bale graze and we haven't really done much over here. This really doesn't see quite the water shear that this slope does, and it's tough for me to show you that on video, but there's a lot more aggressive descent of the hill and water shearing off and traveling down the hill into the valley over there. So we're just trying to control this piece first, and then once we get that water slowed down and starting to be retained, then we'll gradually work our way around this side of the hill. So that's a prime example of what I was talking about in regards to the straw mulch earlier. So although this is hay, it's a little bit different than the straw. The concept is the same. So here we're adding organic material. It's helping to improve soil conditioning and reduce water erosion, increase fertility of the soil. And the water erosion is a huge issue here. If we were to lay plastic in here, honestly, that would accelerate, although it might shear off water faster here, reduce the water erosion here, it would accelerate a problem downstream of it. So that's why we want to increase the organic material here, water and nutrient holding capability right here, so that we don't carry all of that material down there into the creek and then wash it down into the lake. Anyways, Carmen's just about home from Grand Prairie. She had to run into town and grab some planter barrels for the garden. So I'm gonna give her a hand to get those unloaded, and I think we're gonna go in and have supper. So I'll let you go for now. I hope you have a fantastic evening, and we'll see you tomorrow.